So watch this. The space between two rays. Oops. Between two rays. We're going to draw an angle. Let me draw one ray. Remember, a ray from this morning starts and goes on forever, and then another ray starts and goes on forever. I'm going to put a point on this ray called P. Let's call this point Q. Let's call this point R. Nice and big, because we're not going to write the definition of these words, so make it nice and big on your note, okay? So the space between two rays. When I say the space, I'm talking about this space right here. Look at, this is an angle. This space where my hand is at is an angle. What's the vertex of an angle? Well, it's the point where both rays meet. That's your vertex. Put an arrow from the word vertex to the angle. What are the sides of the angle? Well, the sides of the angle are actually the one ray and the other ray. So ray QR, look at ray QR is one side. I'll put it underneath here. So look at ray QR is right there. And what's the other side? It'll be ray QP. Those are the sides of the angle. Remember, that little symbol means a ray. It begins and goes on forever. Okay. The interior of the angle, maybe with your pen or pencil, I'm going to shade the interior of the angle with my crayon. This is all the interior of the angle. I'm going to write interior. Everything outside it is the exterior. So all this space out here, all this two-dimensional space, is the exterior of the angle. So I shaded the interior, and all this is the exterior. Okay, got these terms? Let's talk about names here. Okay, cool. Now, if I want to name an angle, let's say we want to talk about this angle, there's three ways to name it. You want to put names. So if I want to talk about this angle that you and I just drew, one way to name an angle is by just naming it by the vertex. Angle, look at the angle symbol. I can call it angle Q. Just by the vertex. So this would be called angle Q that we just drew. Another way to name it is using the three-letter method. Choosing one point from this ray, then the middle letter will be the vertex, and then one point from this ray. So in other words, picking a point from each ray and then making sure the vertex is the middle letter. Look at the way I name it. I can call this angle PQR. Notice I'm using this angle symbol here. This is what we want to talk about it. So one way to name it, again, is by just the vertex. Another way to name it would be angle PQR. A third way to name it would be RQP. Doesn't matter which order. What does matter, though, is that the vertex is the middle letter. Okay? So there's three ways to name an angle. One by its vertex, or just using the three-letter method, making sure the vertex is the middle letter. Notice on both cases, the vertex was the middle letter. Okay, so far so good. What about the measure of an angle? How do you measure an angle? Do you measure it in inches? Do you measure an angle in feet? Do you measure an angle in meters or miles? Let's see. Look at what Homeboy's going to say. The degrees of an angle. The degrees of an angle measured with a protractor. Measured with a protractor. Here or okay. A protractor is seen right on the other side of your paper. That's how you measure angles, the protractor. In the video I'll show you after the break, we'll show you how to measure an angle. We're going to get into that later. Acute angle, we just went over, put C back. Right angle, C back. The definitions are there on the other side. Yeah, it's right over there. Check, look. I'm just kidding. C back. Straight angle, C the back side of your paper. Congruent angles. Go to write congruent angles here. Here we go. Angles with the same measure. Angles with the same measure. Example. I'm going to draw a little angle here. Let's say this angle is 30 degrees. A little bubble's degrees. Again, I'll get into degrees after the break. The video will get into that. And let's say I have this is angle A. Let's say I have angle B. It's also 30 degrees. Those two angles are congruent because they have the same measure. They're both 30 degrees. So I'm going to draw that little example. Here's angle A, angle B. They're both 30 degrees. We call them congruent. And last but not least, the angle bisector. A ray or line that cuts an angle in half. A ray or line that cuts an angle in half. I'll give you an example. Let me draw an angle here. Let's draw angle XYZ. So it's a ray or a line that cuts an angle in half. So let's draw an angle. Go draw an angle XYZ for me. Oh shoot. Sorry about that, whatever. Uh-oh. No. Don't be sorry, be careful. Oh man. Hostile crowd today. Look what I'm going to do with this angle. I'm going to cut it right in half with a red ray. Check this out. We're going to get that after. Close. You're on the right track. You're definitely on the right track. I'm going to put an arrow from the word angle bisector to this ray that chops the angle right in half, divided in half. Complementary is when they add up to be 90 degrees. supplementaries when they add 318. We're going to get into that after the break too. So, ray YA, chopped angle XYZ right in half. And look what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little arc here on this little resulting angle and an arc here on this resulting angle. I'm going to put a little hash mark on the arcs. That communicates that the two little angles now are exactly the same size. They're congruent. So this ray sliced the angle right in half, so we call this ray an angle bisector. To bisect means to chop in half. If I bisected you, there'd be a lot of blood and guts, but I'll chop you right in half. Perfect. So it's a perfect slice dividing something in two. That's what bisect means, a bisector. So let's summarize this picture. Ray YA, watch this, look at, I'm going to use a ray symbol, is the angle bisector. Of, watch this now, I'm going to name the angle. Angle XYZ. Ray YA is the angle bisector of angle XYZ. One more time?
The angle's not a right angle, that's why.
Right. Exactly. Right. And we'll get the complementary after. I have your stamp sheet out. I'm going to come and give you your second stamp. Go ahead and just for the next few minutes, just finish up any last problems you're working on. I'm going to come and stamp you and we'll take a break. I have your stamp sheet out.